Hello everyone. So today, as promised, we are going to look at how we can have several agents in our simulation, not just a single one. So we'll be able to select them and we'll be able to send them to different positions. So let's see how we can implement this. We are going to work off the code that we implemented in tutorial 4. So copy paste that, rename it tutorial 5. Now if you want to work along, you can go to the website in the video description and download the tutorial 4 code in there. However, please note that the way I intend these tutorials to work is that you first watch the whole video without any coding, understand what I'm doing on a high level, and then you can go off and implement it yourself if you like, going back to my video only as a reference for the syntax. So I don't want you to code along because I'm going too quickly for that. So load the starter code in and let's see what it does. Let's remind ourselves. So basically we just have a single agent here and we can send him to different places. So we would like to have several agents now. Now, before we go on, let's quickly remind ourselves how this works. Basically, we needed two variables that we have to remember for our agent: the current position of our agent and where he should be going towards. Now, in the update method, we always nudge the agent's position slightly towards the target. We always move 3 units, 3 pixels in the direction of the target, and we increment this pos variable, the position. In the mouseup method, we change that target to whatever the user clicks. And in the draw method, we simply just draw the agent and we draw the target and its position as a circle. Now, if we want to have several agents, we are going to need more of these pos and target variables. We will need both of them for every single agent. I will now show you the proper way of maintaining them all. I use this design paradigm in every single one of my programs whenever I need more of something. So the basic idea is that instead of maintaining several lists of these pos and target variables separately, we will create an agent class and then maintain only a single list of agents. And this agent class is going to hold both of these variables in it, pos and target. So here is how we are going to create it. To create a class in Python, just type class, then give it a name. So for us it's agent, colon, and write the constructor. So we are always just going to copy paste these. They look weird. Now we need two variables in every single agent. A pos variable, which is going to be a vector, let's say it's initially 0, 0. And a target variable. Let's say it's a vector, initially 0, 0. So this basically tells Python that we want to have a new class called agent, and it should have two variables, pos and target. Now I'm going to show you how you can use this class to do exactly what we already have. So I'm going to create a new agent object just by doing that, and I'm going to assign it to a variable that I'll call just a. And then self.a.pos will be this, and self.a.target will be that. Okay, so instead of having a pos and a target, I've created an agent, and I've set its variables, pos and target, to these two. So now I don't have a self.target variable, I have a self.a, which is an agent, and it has a variable target, and same here. And now I have to modify this code and self.agent.target. And when we draw, it's not self.target, it's self.a.target, self.a.pos, and self.a.pos. So instead of having a target and a pos variable, we just have an agent and it has the pos and target variables. So let's see what this does. It should do exactly what we already had. We've just moved those variables inside a class. But of course, the reason we've done that is that now it's going to be really easy to create several of these agents. All I have to do now is, instead of having a self.a variable, I'll have a self.agents variable, and it will be a list. So initially, I'll have an empty list. And now, for I in range 10, so in other words, this is a for loop. I will be incremented from 0 to 9, so 10 times. Let's create a new agent. So a equals agent. Let's assign its variables, and then self.agents.append a. So what we are doing here is that we've created an empty array called self.agents. And then here we are creating an object, agent, we are assigning it variables, and we are appending it, or adding it to the list called self.agents. So basically at the end of this, self.agents will be a list of length 10, and it's going to contain 10 agent objects in it. Now we have to go through our code and basically accommodate this change. So in the update method, we are moving an agent towards its target. We would like to do all of this for every single agent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for a in self.agents. What this does in Python is that it goes through every single item in self.agents and it calls it a, and now you can do stuff with a. So for every agent called a, let's compute the dir vector, which is going to be that agent's target minus that agent's position. And then if that, then move it. So just take off the self dots, like that. So for every single agent, call them a, do that. Now, in here on the mouse up, we have to decide which agent we are controlling. So let's say we're just controlling the 0th agent, so the first agent in the list. So we're going to change this later, but let's for now say that self.agents at the 0th position, so in other words the first agent, let's assign its target variable to whatever the user clicks. And in the draw method, we want to draw all the agents. So again, we're going to have a loop for a in self.agents, and we have to indent all this, draw the target, draw the position. So that's it. So let's see what we have. Start. Okay, so what is happening here? Why do we only see 2? The reason we only see 2, or in fact only 1, is that we've created all the agents exactly on top of each other. So they're all stacked up, all 10 of them. So to change this, let's say instead of 400, let's uniform 0 and self.width. So in other words, a random number between 0 and the width, which is stored in the self.w variable. And the starting y coordinate will be a uniform random number between 0 and self.height, self.age. And let's say the same thing for the target. So in other words, for every single agent, its position is random and its initial target is random. So let's see what it's did. So there we go. And we should be able to control one of them. So that's the 0th agent in the list that I'm controlling right now. So now let's implement the fact that we can change these agents, change the one that we are controlling. There are several ways that we can implement that. One of the ways is to basically keep track of whichever agent is currently selected. So we are going to do that by creating a new variable called self.selected, and we will initially point it to self.agents at 0, in other words the 0th agent. So we are going to store that reference to that object in this variable self.selected. Now, once we have this variable in the mouseUp method, we don't want to change the agent 0th target, but we want to change the target of whichever agent is currently selected. In other words, self.selected.target is going to be changed. And now let's say that the right mouse button should send agents to different positions, and let's say that the left mouse button should select different targets. So in other words, changing the target of some agent, that should be right mouse button. So if button is 3, we are going to change the selected agent's target, and in other words send him to a different position. But if button is 1, in other words the left mouse button, then we are going to want to change which agent is currently selected. Now how can we change the self.selected variable appropriately? Well, when the user clicks the left mouse button, so we are here, we are given the position of that click as a tuple. And in addition, we know where every single agent is because every single agent has this pos variable. So we just need to find the agent that's within, how big are they? 20 pixels. So the radii are 20 pixels. So we just need to find an agent that's within 20 of this position pos. So in other words, we need to go through all of them for a in self.agents. For every single agent, let's check its distance to pos. So a.pos is the vector, the position of the agent. And these vectors have a very useful method called getDistance. GetDistance is a method that returns the distance to some other vector. So we need to give it the second vector that we are interested in. In our case, that's basically pos. Now keep in mind that pause is a tuple, so we first need to convert it into a vector and then pass it here. So we just need to create a vector, and we can create a vector by giving it a tuple. So we are creating a new vector object out of this tuple, and then passing that vector into this getDistance method, and this will return how far is agent A from pause. Now if this quantity is lower than 20, because that's how fat they are, then basically we found an agent that's within 20 of pause. So let's just change self.selected to be A. That's it. We just stored the reference to this agent. So with my right mouse button, I should be controlling. That's the 0th agent. And now I click left. So I should have selected this one. And now right mouse button changes that one around. So left click, selected this one, send that one around. Now if I click somewhere else, what's going to happen? So left click somewhere else, nothing's going to happen, right? Because this condition will never be satisfied, so we are not going to change this self.selected variable. So that's it. And finally, the last modification we are going to make is that we are going to visually distinguish the selected agent. So here in the draw method, where we are drawing all these agents from this with this color, we are just going to change it so that if A is the selected one, then we are going to draw it with just different color. So if A is self.selected, we'll draw it with one color. Else we will do this color that we've been drawing until now. So I'll copy paste this line now. So if it's selected, let's just draw a different color. Let's say I'll change the green component a bit. I don't even know what color that is, but I just changed it. So you see, one of the agents is visually distinct. That's the selected one. And now I can just select different ones. And if I click somewhere else, then nothing has changed. So that's it. Let's just do a quick recap before I finish. I've shown you how you can maintain several copies of something, such as an agent in game. The core idea here is to create a new class for everything that you want to have in your program and store all variables inside it. Then you can easily create a bunch of objects from this class and store them all in a list. From then on, you will often just iterate over every single element in your list and do something. Again, I encourage you to play around with the code that I will post on the website. As my challenge for you, try to implement a waypoint system. So middle click will queue up targets for every single agent. See if you can implement that. It requires you to change about 10 lines of code. Anyway, that's it for now. Next time, by popular demand of one person, we will look at how we can detect and resolve collisions between our agents. Until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.